On this episode of NTV Seeds of Gold, we visit Mukono Mixed Ranch in Nkokonjeru, Buyikwe district, where we learn a new way of doing things on a farm. Eric from Damba Kezaala Enterprises gladly takes us on this journey of success.
A farm, for us, we take it as a business of space. You maximize each and every dead space which you have. We make sure that at least somebody is going to have an efficient use of their land. We make sure that according to the plan, we are now going to put into practice, but following the exact blueprint which was calculated and weighed out.
This is how it all started. Eric felt the need to be different and close the gap that he realized was lacking. Armed with his degree in agriculture, he ventured into planning farms, not just for himself, but for others as well.
So as a person, I hold an honors degree in agriculture from Nkozi University. And immediately that I left the university, I had this passion of helping farmers. Initially, it was actually more of a give back, but I realized most of the farms were not planned. People are doing things in their own way, and my personal inspiration, I always wanted to do architecture, but I found myself performing a little bit higher in the biological subject, so I ended up in the agricultural space. So eventually the architectural passion caught up with me in the agriculture sector, and that's how I found myself planning people's farms over and over.
Damba Kezaala Enterprises has already planned numerous farms across various regions.
So currently I've planned for over 100 projects in Uganda, in Kenya, and in Nigeria. And so most of these, we don't boast from the experience, but also the feedback that we have gotten from the different clients who have different projects, different locations, different aspirations, different terrain. Some are hilly, some are soggy, some are swampy. So the different sectors that we have seen, or the different farms that we have been to, give us the vast knowledge of the feedback that we have got.
They offer comprehensive services including planning, setup, management, and market linkage. It is a well-organized group capable of providing farm management services as needed. We
plan the farms. After planning, we set them up. After setting up, we manage, and then we supervise, which we call maybe marketing after that. So when we are planning, we make sure that at least somebody is going to have an efficient use of their land. And then when it comes to setup, we make sure that according to the plan that we planned, or that we thought, or the vision that you had, we are now going to put into practice, but following the exact blueprint which was calculated and weighed out. Then after that, at setup, obviously we get in people like engineers who we have, because all these projects we have engineers that have now crafted their skill tailored to the agricultural constructions, which is a bit far away from the conventional engineering. And then that also calls for people like the casual laborers, normal young people who don't have any qualification. Then after that, we get in people who are managers qualified in agriculture to manage these farms efficiently. We always have weekly meetings with our clients. We have monthly supervisions where somebody comes to the farm, our supervisor, and then we have sometimes CCTVs to monitor what is taking place. And then marketing, because the end goal of whatever we are doing is to make sure that somebody is economically sustainable and profitable. So at the end of the day, after planning, setting up, managing, supervising, then you make sure that at least we also give you the market access and linkages.
I was quite curious to know who qualifies for their services in terms of land size. They have planned land ranging from small plots of 50 by 100 to expansive areas covering a square mile. The prices are favorable, making agriculture accessible to all.
So our clientele ranges from the lowest person to the biggest person. The smallest project we have planned is a 50 by 100, and it is by some of these girls who go abroad to look for greener pastures elsewhere, and then they need to come and save an investment back home. So it could have maybe about 1,000 birds, about maybe 300 pigs on such a small piece of land. But also, we have planned up to a square mile. So we have the capacity to plan something within as small as a 50 by 100 to as big as a square mile and beyond, because we have, modern technology and state-of-the-art equipment when it comes to planning, which is conventional and accepted worldwide. The standards, they are worldwide, which can be at least be able to be incorporated. Then also the income streams. We have people as low as askaris, gatemen, coming to get consultation from us. Then of course there are people who are a bit higher in terms of economic statuses, who have bigger portions of land, a bigger financial muscle. So we have packages for all ranges of societal differences.
When work begins, they utilize advanced technology such as RTK and drones for precision and accuracy in land assessment and planning.
So this drone is not really something fancy, but it gives you an aerial view of your farm so that you're able to know and actually notice the dead spaces that you have visually and in real time. This one is called the receiver. It is usually used by the surveyors. Then this one is the GNSS. So I'm mounting this. After, I have to adjust and make sure that at least, it has a very good height for me. But before that, let me switch it on so I'm good to go and collect these points. When you come to the farm, the first thing that you must do is for you to know all the border points, all the corners of your farm, where you separate with your neighbors, or if you have mark stones where they are, or in case you don't have mark stones, if you know the border points. Because the first thing we are going to do is to look for all those border points. Everywhere that we see it, we go with an RTK machine, the one that is used by surveyors. So we go and pick that point, we go and pick all the points across or on the boundary so that we have all of them. So this is now going to give us all the space that you have and the different terrains and the different points in it. Now, if there are things which are already existing, because we have some farmers who are starting bare land, then we have those who are at least existing. You have some structures there, but you just need to add on a plan. So we also go and pick points where those structures are, if there's a water tank, if there's already structures for the animals, if there are poultry structures, pig structures, whichever. So we pick also those ones so that we are able to incorporate them into the coming plan, or we can add them, or we can remove them depending. We have picked those points, 1, 2, 3 for this structure, because we want to make sure that when we are planning, we fit in the exact location that we have placed it. So I'm going to pick also point number 4 so that it will appear in our plan. In our plan, we won't have to plan something that is interfering with this which is already existing, and our principle is to minimize wastage, the building and breaking. So in case we are to put anything here, it must be able to coexist with this one. So let me go and also pick that other point so that we can have a complete structure. So I'm picking this point, but now you also realize that we have this dog kennel, which is also very, very operational and very, very central to our plan, because we shall need these dogs to be able to guard our farm. So that we don't have a deceptive picture that we have free space here, so we're also going to pick this so that in our plan it also comes out as central to our improvements. So I'm also going to pick this. So this we do for all structures that are existing on the farm, so that we are able to make sure that we place everything in the right space that it has to be. Because remember, we say a farm is a business of space and weights. We must be able to keep that principle whenever we are planning, so that we don't have any dead space, So sometimes we also have these already planted structures. For example, we have this tree, this orange, and we want the plant to be as realistic as possible. We don't want to now plan for this space and if there's a tree which you could actually cater for. So we are going to pick this orange and make sure that when you are planning, we know that there is an orange tree. So we plan for it. Then we also have this pasture here, which is very important, and so we shall not do away with it. So in our plan, still we also pick it and we label it. So the principle of picking each and every existing structure and plant is to be able to quantify how much you're doing currently. So after you have gotten those border points, then we go back to our system and then plan according to what is there and according to your vision. So it makes sure that the plan that we are going to give you actually fits within that space that we have. But also, this plan would have measured what we have. So that one can be able to help us to formulate what we call a financial plan, which is realistic. For example, if it is 1 acre of grass, we know you're going to have probably 2 animals on zero grazing. If it is 1 acre of bananas, you're going to have 450. So we have a financial plan that is tailored to something that is realistic.
Eric emphasizes the importance of detailed research in their approach.
So after we have gotten our points, the different points, then we are able to map out the whole land as it appears. So after that, we zone, because this we feed it into our planning softwares, based also on our assessment, the agriculture side, the architecture side, and also the vast or the huge experience that we have and the feedback from the different farms that we have had. So after that, then we now put in the different proposed structures that we know and they are needed at the farm, that the farm is going to actually put in place. This could be next year or within the next 10 years. We now go to different amenities. For example, the water. We show you how the water pipes are going to be moved, so that when you start putting up these structures, in the near future you may not need to actually break somewhere where there was a pipe which you put there in a wrong place. But now this shows you where you should put every structure even before you can start. So you can see already the water lines, we put them there. For example, this farm, when we started, the existing structures were just the pig units and the staff house. But then we added in other things like the fish ponds, we have the cottages, we have the probably even the ducks. All those other enterprises can be put there. Then energy, because for us we always want the farm to be off grid. That water is underground water, and even this energy is solar energy. We calculate for you all the energy that you're going to use for the different structures, outdoor lightings, cameras, all that. We make sure that at least we have planned for it way before the farm begins. Then waste. We have different wastes. We have human waste, we have animal waste, we have plastics, we have metals, we have sharp objects, poisonous things, like the weed size and everything. And so one of our major goal is environmental sustainability. So we must be able to also cater for the waste even before it is there. Then we have what we call phasing. As you can see, the already existing structures, we have a different phase for them. Then we have the next structures, for example, the fish ponds, which you put there. Then finally, we also give you setouts, so that after you've been able to plan and allocate for all the space, it is easy for you. Even if you just send your manager, he can be able to mark off these spaces, and then he puts things just by looking at the plan. So we look at all these details, so you can see, because we were looking at these structures, how they're existing. Even here you can see we have this sty which we marked out. We have the kennels which we marked out. So we are not putting anything where actually the kennel is going to be. We have some rocks this side which we planned and already put there. This is about 5 acres of empty spaces which can be utilized very well. So we give you the different views, the different shots, so that you are able to actually, this is where we shall have the cottages so that people can rest. These people who stay here, we have the concept called agro-tourism. So the people who stay here are the same people who are going to eat this fish, this pork, the bananas, and so you're selling at a higher cost beyond the farm gate, but getting value for your money. In phasing, we start with the cheapest things, but when they are able to sustain you or give the farm enough capital. Yes, so the purpose of the farm is to show you where you can go. So instead of stopping at where you are, you know where actually you can fit more structures. A farm, in simple terms for us, we take it as a business of space. You maximize each and every dead space which you have, but you make sure also what you're growing there grows well to attain market weight. So different views of the same farm so that the farmer can be able to grasp it.
What sets the idea apart is the meticulous attention to detail, ensuring checks and balances are in place throughout the agricultural process.
Our idea is unique in a way that it has been done in other spaces other than the agriculture side. So for us, we are bringing something which has been so much done in the conventional world, but now we are putting it into the agriculture scope. Not only the architecture and the engineering, but having also this background of agriculture. So that if we are to measure off something, a space, we are able to quantify it so that what you have is actually tailored to the exact farm that you have, but using these state-of-the-art equipment, but also not, very fancy and sophisticated to shoot the prices.
Eric proudly mentions several successful farms they've set up, including Kathman Farms, where they implemented a banking module. We actually did host them on the show a little while back. This farm's mentorship program spans 1 year with a 10-year plan for sustained success.
Out of the 100 projects that we have planned, initially we were just planning. But after we sat down and assessed, if we are planning, what is the traction that we have behind? Have these people been setting up? And so close to last year, we decided now, after setting up, to follow up. And so out of the 100, we have some farms that are actually already doing well. For example, here we have Mukono Mixed Ranch here in Buyikwe. Like what we said, after planning, setting up, managing, then we help you to get clients. And so once in a while, we always help them to sell off their stock, to bring in people that are going to add value to them. We have certain farms like Shalom Organic in Zirowe. Also, what we do is we help you to source for credible funding. All these documents that we are preparing for you, they give you a step ahead your competitors when you're looking for funding. We have Chamagero Farms, which is in Matuga. It is a small one, also 100 by 100, having about 300 pigs and about 1,500 birds on top of them, because we maximize vertical space. So we have quite a number. We have Kathman Farms, which has actually appeared on this show before. They do farm banking, whereby you bring animals here and then they spray, they keep them for you at interest. And quite a number which I may not be able to remember, but we have been doing this and some of them have already made us to be proud of them. After setting up, we make sure that we mentor you for at least the next 1 year. We actually call it mentorship because we ourselves, we have been able to receive grants and funding, and so we know every nitty-gritty that you need to have, all the paperwork, all the practices, the best practices. And so we make sure that at least we mentor you for 1 year. But the plans that we do, they should be able to take you up to 10 years.
Despite their achievements, Damba Kezaala Enterprises faces challenges like any other business.
One of the biggest challenges that we have in this space is most of the people feel like they have been doing farming long enough without a plan and they have been successful. So sometimes it is difficult to convince them that actually you need a plan to be able, even if you're already successful, you need to have a succession plan for your child and even your children's children. If it's only just a gut feeling only in your heart, in your mind, your son may not be able to pick it up as it is. But if we write it down, if we do visuals for you, it can be very easy for you to actually have a sustainability plan when everybody knows what they are doing. Your manager just looks at it as it is, your children, your wife, your spouse, whatever you have. So one of the biggest challenges is that people actually feel like they have been successful enough without a plan. Others think it is too expensive to start with a plan without having anything tangible.
However, their aspirations know no bounds as they plan to expand their horizons.
As a company, in the future, we really want to see as many farms as possible which are planned. In fact, we'd like also these government schemes to go according to plan. And so if we have such plans, at least when in every sector we have centers of excellence, it will be something that we would like us to, to have. And obviously, now that we are getting into other markets, the Kenyan, Nigerian, Congolese, we would also like to have presence there and eventually probably the whole globe.
To the youth, Eric offers advice: embrace agriculture, start small, and never stop learning. The sector needs innovative minds, not just traditional white-collar jobs.
My advice to the young people, especially those that feel they have the potential. First of all, let me speak to those ones who have gone to school and have good grades. I personally did well in school, but I chose to stay in this sector of agriculture to bring in the best out of it. Usually the A students are only taken to the banks, NGOs, high positions. But if we have the best brains, the best academicians in our sector, in the agriculture sector, it will be able to at least take a farm shape and then get higher and better to the way that we see these sectors, the banking and the NGO, how they are performing. If we have the best brains in agriculture, then we shall be able to actually catch up and have a farmer backbone that we have.
Farming opportunities. It is imperative to note that crop and animal protection is a vital aspect of farm planning, fundamental to ensuring the success and sustainability of agricultural operations. Incorporating measures for crop and animal protection into farm planning helps mitigate risks, optimize productivity, and promote environmental conservation. Risk management. Implementing crop and animal protection strategies helps one mitigate risks associated with pests, diseases, and adverse weather conditions. By identifying potential threats and developing proactive measures, such as selecting resistant crop varieties or implementing biosecurity protocols for livestock, farmers can minimize losses and protect their investment. Optimizing yield. Protecting crops and animals from threats enables farmers to optimize yield potential. By maintaining healthy plant and animal populations, farmers can achieve higher productivity levels, leading to increased profitability and sustainability of the farm operation. Resource efficiency. Effective crop and animal protection practices contribute to resource efficiency by reducing the need for inputs such as pesticides, fertilizers, and antibiotics. Integrated pest management techniques, for example, emphasize using a combination of cultural, biological, and chemical control methods to manage pests while minimizing environmental impact and preserving natural resources. Farm planning that includes crop and animal protection measures promotes environmental sustainability by minimizing the negative impact of agricultural practices on surrounding ecosystems. Compliance and certification. Adhering to crop and animal protection regulations and certification standards is essential for farm viability and market access. By incorporating compliance requirements into farm planning, farmers can ensure that their operations meet food safety, environmental, and animal welfare standards, thereby enhancing customer confidence and market competitiveness. Long-term viability. Planning for crop and animal protection fosters the long-term viability of farm enterprises by safeguarding the health and resilience of agricultural systems.
Thank you so much for watching, but do join us again next week as we meet James, the actual owner of Mukono Mixed Ranch, to explore how planning helped turn his dreams into a reality. You do not want to miss his insights and experiences. Until next time, ciao. Do not forget to keep those comments coming in. #NTV Seeds of Gold.